Welcome back once again for our discussion on Discourse of the Greatest Blessing on Mangala Sutta. So today, the second day, and we're gonna finish our discussion for this important sutta. Make sure that you may go to the book to do more, to do extra reading, to do more research yourself about this important sutta. I wish that one day I will conduct the course on this important sutta, important discourse, maybe until we finish. Because with this course, we require to discuss only 2 days, only within a week, to finish within a week. So we cannot go in detail. We cannot go up deeply about the discourse, just to get you to know the importance and the meaning, and also the summary, the synthesis of the sutta, of the discourse. So I wish that one day I will take the course on this important discourse. Maybe we take a month or around 3 months to finish the discourse. We will go deeply in detail one by one blessing to discuss. So we start our class by reciting the Namo Tassa 3 times altogether, and we will go to the reading, right? The reading of the sutta, of the discourse altogether. After reciting the Namo Tassa to start the class, and we go to the reading and discuss somehow on one by one blessing, the 38 blessings. So let's join palm together and recite Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. My homage to the blessed one, the worthy one, and the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu. Also my regard to venerable monks. Greeting to lay students, Upasaka, is joining this course Buddhism in English, level 4, and I am substitute the class again instead of Venerable Sok TV, as he busy with on his mission in other state in USA. So let's go to the reading of the sutta altogether. You see the screen, right, everyone? Hello?
Yeah,
The screen with the discourse on greatest blessing, right, with PDF file, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's read all together, right, with me. Follow me. Mute yourself and read slowly with me all together. 1, 2, 3. Evam me suttam ekam samayam bhagava savatthiyam viharati chetavane. Sorry again. Okay. Chetavane anathapandikasa arame athako anyatara devata abhikantaya ratiya abhikanta vana kevala kapang cetavanang obahasetva yena bhagava upasangkamitva bhagavantang apivadedva ekamantang atthasi ekamantang thita khosa devata bhagavantang thita gathaya ajabhasi. Thus have I heard on one occasion the Buddha was dwelling at Anathapindika's monastery in Jetagross near Savatthi. Now when the night was fast spent, a certain deity whose surpassing splendor illuminated the entire Jetagross came to the presence of the Buddha and drawing near, respectfully saluted him and stood at one side. Standing thus, he addressed the Buddha in verse. Bahudeva manusa cha mangalani ajentayum akankamana sothanam ruhi mangalamuttamang. Many deities and men have pondered on blessings, yawning after good. Pray tell me the greatest blessing. So the first here is the interaction of the sutta. Here is the question, right? The question of the deity. A certain deity approached the Buddha and asked question about the blessing, the highest blessing, the real blessing. So here Buddha replied in verse, in stanza, Asevana ja balanang panditananja sevana puja ja pujaniyanam etang mangalamuttamang. Not to associate with the fool, but to associate with the wise, and to honor those who are worthy of honor. This is the greatest blessing. Patirupa tesa patirupa tesa vasocha pupecha katapunyata atta sama paneticha etang mangalamuttamang. To reside in a suitable locality, to have done preparation meritorious actions in the past, and to set oneself in the right course. This is the greatest blessing. Bahu sajanja sepanja viniyoja susekito subhasita jayavaja etang mangalamuttamang. To have general knowledge, knowledge of arts, science and vocations, disciplines and manners, and the art of truthful and pleasant speech. This is the greatest blessing. Mata pitu upathanang puttatara sa sangkaho anakula ja kamonta etang mangalamuttamang. To support mother and father, to cherish wife and children, and to be engaged in unconflicting, peaceful occupation. This is the greatest blessing. Dananja dhammacariya ja nyatakananja sangkaho anavajani kamani etang mangalamuttamang. Sharing, to be righteous in that conduct, to have one's relative, and to be blameless in action. This is the greatest blessing. Arati viriti papa majapana ja sanyamo apamato ja dhammesu etang mangalamuttamang. To loathe evil and to abstain from evil from it, to refrain from intoxicants and to be mindful in the dhammas. This is the greatest blessing. Garavo cha nivato cha santati cha katanyuta kalena dhammasavanang etang mangalamuttamang. Respect humility, contentment, and gratitude, and to listen to the Dharma on due occasions. This is the greatest blessing. Khanti cha sovacha sata samanananja dasanang kalena dhammasa kacha etang mangalamuttamang. To be patient and receptive to advice, to associate with monks, and to have Dhamma discussions on due occasions. This is the greatest blessing. Tapoja brahmacharyancha ariya sajjana dasanang nibbana sachi kiriyaja etang mangalamuttamang. Self-restraint, holy practice, the seeing of the noble truths, and the realization of nibbana. This is the greatest blessing. Puttasa lokadhamehi Chetang yasa nakampati asokang virijang khemang etang mangalamuttamang. The mind unshaken by the whims of fortune, carefree, stainless, and fearless, secure. This is the greatest blessing. Etani katavana sapatha ma parajita sapatha sothang kachanti tang te sang mangalamuttamanti. Having achieved these blessings, they are everywhere undefeated, in happiness established. These are the greatest blessings. So the 38 blessings in English: to associate with the full, not to associate with the full, to associate with the wise, to honor those who are worthy of honor, to reside in a suitable location or locality, to have meritorious actions done, to have meritorious deeds done in the past, to set oneself in the right course, to have general knowledge, to have a lot of general knowledge, or to be well learned in general knowledge, to be skillful in arts, science, and vocation, and to have knowledge of arts, science, and vocations. So even the Buddha taught only the way to liberation, but in daily living, people or human being depend on the science, the art, or vocation. So the Buddha also advised to have the knowledge of arts, to be specific, to have the specific skills, the skills that is lawful or blameless. And later on, the Buddha also advised on the blameless action or blameless job, right? To be skillful of art, science, and vocations, to have the good discipline and manners, to have the truthful and pleasant speech, to support mother and father, to cherish wife and children, to be engaged in unconflicting work, the work that is not disturbed to others. That means peaceful occupation, right? Righteous work, righteous occupation, the occupation that is not disturbed to others, to the welfare of others. To share in generosity, to be righteous in conduct, to help one's relative, to be blameless in action, right? To be the job that is blameless, the work that is blameless, without cheating, without killing, without stealing, right? Without relevant to sexual intercourse, right? The job that is gambling or relevant to human trafficking. So the Buddha admonishes to avoid, to not to do the blameless job, blameless action, to loathe evil, right? Not to be satisfied with evil, to abstain from evil, right? To refrain from intoxicants, to be mindful in dhammas, to respect, to be humble, humility, ready to accept the advice, ready to be uh, advice to content. I mean contentment in with one gain. What we have, what we gain, what we earn. We have to content in one's family, right? Not to commit, you know, uh, betray with one's own relationship. Also, if you betray to have another relationship beside family or a family, that means you're not content with your own, with your family, with your wife, right, and children, of course. To be grateful, right, with those who are benefactors, first and foremost benefactor, like our parents, our teachers, um, of course, to listen to the Dharma on your occasions, okay, to be patient, kanti, to be receptive to advice, right? So vajasata, um, I mean, you are ready to accept the advice of others, of your teachers, to associate with monks, right? To have Dhamma discussion on your occasions, to be self-restrained, to be practice austerity, that means practice the brahmacharya, holy practice, um, the seeing of the noble truths, the realization of nibbana, the mind unshaken by the worldly state, the eight worldly state, um, gain, no gain, fames, uh, no fame, praise and blame, happiness and pain. So these are the eight um, worldly state of worldly dharma, up and down of life. So your mind that is unshaken by that, even you encounter happiness, encounter gain, encounter fame, but not to be too happy, too satisfied with that. And when you encounter the bad circumstances, the I mean the down, your life is down, just like you 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 get sick. That means you get pain for yourself, you family problem. So not to be, you know, not to be sad, not too sad with that, because there is the nature of life, sometimes up, sometimes down, sometimes with positive circumstances, sometimes with negative circumstances. There is the nature of life, right? Sometimes you you have a lot of income in your business, right? You got a lot of income for your business. Sometimes you lost everything. You cannot get amount of income for your business. So sometimes life is like that, up and down, right? Good and bad. You cannot control. So it is the worldly state, the worldly dhamma. So your mind should be trained. Your mind should be educated, not to be shaken with the whims of fortune, right? ជាមួយនឹងរលកឡើងចុះរបស់លោកធម៌ right? um, can be up, can be down. So we have to uh, to to tame our mind, not to be shaken, to be sorrowless, carefree, right? Sorrowless, to be standless, to be fearless or sexual, kemang. So the blessing finish in kemang, that means to be fearless, sexual. So you are supposed to remember one by one blessing yourself. Yesterday I asked you to remember, try to remember. Actually, it's difficult to remember. Even me, I sometimes, if someone says in Pali, so it comes to me the meaning, just like the Dhamacharya, or it comes to me the holy practice here, right? Dhamacharya, Samana Nanyadasanan, right? To see the Dhamma, or to associate with the to see the monks, or to associate with the monks. If we can say kanti, or to be patient, to be forbearance, to be tolerance in with things, right? Or sovachasata, to be receptive to advice. Katanyuta, right? To be grateful. Santati, to be contentment, to content, to satisfy what one's own with one's earn. Okay. Nivato. Nivato meant to be humble, humility, right? So you try to remember Asevana Jabalanang, right? Not to associate with the fool. Panitanang Jasevana, to associate with the wise. Pocha Japujaniyanang, to honor those who are worthy of honor. Okay. Patirupate Savasoja, to reside in a suitable location. Pope Chakatapunyata, to have the meritorious deeds done in the past. As you born as human being, you are lucky to be born as human being, because other being born in hell, other being born as hungry ghosts, other being born in animal kingdom as animal, just like dog, just like cow. But you are lucky because you have meritorious deed done in the past, right? Because at the past time you reside in the suitable locality, the well prepared, the well organized society, the well organized country that you live in, and then you are accumulated merits. You have meritorious deed done in the past, so you born as human being. You born with a good family, some born in a rich family or in a medium uh, standard family. So it is based on your meritorious deeds done in the past, right? To set oneself on the right course. To set oneself in the right course, that means to set oneself within the precepts, the 5 precepts. You practice the 5 precepts: non-killing, non-steal, non-committing sexual misconduct, non-telling lies, non-using, alcoholic drink and drug, right? Bahu Sachanja, to be well versed in knowledge, in general knowledge. You are become Pahu Sutta. That means you are well learned, well educated. Okay. And to be skillful in arts, science, vocations of the monk and for the lay. In every Cambodian action, we say អ្នកបួសមិនសង្រួមមិនល្អ ក្រហោះអត់របរមិនថ្លៃថ្នូរ without job, without vacations, you can live with one's prestige or fame, because you don't have specific job, specific skill. You are looked down from others, right? Viniyo, to have the good discipline and manners, to be truthful and pleasant. That means supasita, jayavaja, mean to have the truthful and pleasant speech. Okay. Mata pitu upathanang, to support one's mother and father. Pottatarasa sankaho, to cherish, to support wife and children. Okay. Anagula jakamonta, to be engaged in unconflicting work. Whatever you do, what is your job? That means not disturb, unconflicting to others' welfare, to others' harmony, to the harmonies of others. So make sure that your job is not conflicted, is unconflict. Your job is undisturbed to others. That means peaceful occupation. And to share in generosity, dananja. Okay, to be righteous in conduct. Tiananh Dhamacharya. Okay, dananja Dhamacharya. Okay, to have one's relatives, Nyatika Nanja Sangaho, to be blameless in action, Anavajani Kamani, Edamangala Muttamang, right? to load evil, arati, virati, that means to abstain from evil, right? To refrain from intoxicant, majapana, chasanyamo. Okay, you remember Pali, and then you may remember the translation as well. Even me, if it is I am asked to, what is the first, what is second or third, or 30's blessing, I cannot remember as well. But if someone asks me in Pali, tapoja, that means self-restraint. Okay, so that I remember some the translation. Okay, so you are supposed to remember one by one blessing. That is the important for you, and you go to the detail, the reading for detail information in the book is shared in the Telegram. So for the discussion from yesterday, you know the incorrect, right, interpretation of Mangala, Teti Mangala, Sutta Mangala, and Mutta Mangala, and also the definition of Mangala. What we mean by Mangala, blessing, it is the practice which cuts off evil things, right? We cut off problem, just like if you avoid associating with the fool, it is to cut off problem, evil things, a way to auspiciousness, prosperity, welfare, or happiness. In short, Mangala means whatever removes evil, whatever is beneficial, whatever is auspicious, or whatever gives happiness for you, for your family, and others, and the whole society. And also 5 kind of rumors. The Mangala also become kolahala, become rumor, right? So there are kinds of rumor. We have kappa kolahala, chakavati kolahala, Buddha kolahala, and Mangala kolahala, and Moneya kolahala. Kaulahal, in, if we can say kaulahala or kaulahal, right? And 6 unsuitable places for hearing the Dharma. You may remember by yourself. And also the reason that the celestial being prefer to stand while listening to the teaching of the Buddha, just like a certain deity approached the Buddha and asked question to the Buddha by standing, right, not sitting. For human being, they approach the Buddha, they respectfully saluted to the Buddha and sit at one side. But except the celestial being, whenever he approached the Buddha, did not sit but just stand. And these are the reason, because they discuss or dislike with human bodily odor, smell, so they, to return quickly, because it's not necessary for them, because they are not tired for standing. They stand for a long time but not tired. And to show respect to the Sangha around the Buddha, and to show more respect to the Buddha, is the reasons that the celestial being or deity prefers to stand. Okay, so we go to the discussion on the Mangala Sutta. So to avoid superstition, to avoid beliefs, just like we discussed about the 3 others Mangala of 3 different teachers, 3 different group of people. They believe that seeing is blessing, Titha Mangala, hearing is blessing, Sutta Mangala, and Mutta Mangala, that means smelling, tasting, and touching is a blessing. It is the superstition It is incorrect interpretation of Mangala. So it is not about self-reliance. It is not about self-dependence. If it is Mangala, it becomes the way of life. It becomes the virtues that we practice, becomes self-reliance or self-dependence for ourselves and for other, not to depend on others, not to rely on others for the happiness, for the blessing, but to depend on oneself, your own activity, your own daily application. So that's why we need to know the blessing, the 38 blessings that the Buddha taught, in order that we practice, in order to develop our self-reliance or self-dependence for the sake of our own self and family and others and society as a whole. So just like the principle of the whole teaching of the Buddha is self-reliance, of course, just like the stanza our Lord Buddha taught, Attahi Attano Nato, right? Once is one's own refuge, once is one's own reliance, self-reliance. We don't rely on others, but we rely on our own self. We rely on our own self. That means we rely on our action, our job, our activity, our occupation that avoid from immoral occupation, from immoral trade, immoral business that we rely on. Especially we rely on our merits, meritorious done, right? So the principle of the whole teaching of the Buddha is self-reliance. We have to depend on ourselves to make good of our life and the opportunity it presents. So in your present life, what you face for your daily life, that means you can breathe, the breathe in and breathe out. That means you possess life. If without breath, you may die, you may pass away without breath. But you are able to breathe in the morning, you can open your eye to see the world. It is the opportunity. It is the meritorious deed. It is the result from the meritorious deed done in the past, right? It is your self-reliance. You are not dependent on others' meritorious deed, and then you can survive, and then you can live open in the morning and see the world. You cannot depend on that. But for your own reliance, for your own meritorious action done in the past, and then you are able to survive for the present day and also tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. It is the opportunity that you encounter, that you possess. And also, this underlines the difference between the concept of blessings in Buddhism and other beliefs. It is important. Other beliefs that seeing as blessing, right? Sutta Mangala, uh, Titi Mangala, Sutta Mangala, and Mutta Mangala. But in Buddhism, it is different from that. Not with not by seeing, not by hearing, but by practicing, of course. And we should approach the subject of blessings first and foremost with attitude of self-dependence. Then the mind will not be confused or disturbed by superstition. It is not by mere superstition, but by understanding the blessing, right? um, we should put into practice in your daily application. Firstly, start from not associating with the fault, and we need to find the wise and then approach him, to associate with him or her, to ask question, to discuss dharma in due time, to listen to the dharma in due time, in due occasion. So it is the blessing. It is not by mere superstition, just mere belief. That's it. In other words, the Buddha's main point in the Mangala Sutta is that blessings come from our own efforts, of course, our own action, by our own effort. And those efforts have many dimensions. By education, right? Through education, social, economic, psychological, and spiritual. So, by our own efforts, we can gain the blessing. Effort in what? In education, make sure that you have good education. Make sure that you have good relationship association with the device, not with the phone. You have earned the job, the blameless action, the unconflicting work or peaceful occasion when you are well versed, you are well learned, and the holy practice, right? Brahmacharya, you share in generosity. I mean, uh, you practice patience. You are patient with things that happen with you, right? You are not you are not shaken with the worldly state up and down of life. It is how you develop. It is by action. It is by your own effort, not by praying. Um, the blessing should avoid praying from the God, even from the Buddha. The Buddha asked not to pray for him from him. The blessing, the happiness happen by your own practice, happen by your own righteous practice, own righteous effort to put in your daily application. So avoid superstition, avoid praying, but develop your education. Make sure you have the good association. Make sure you are not lazy with job, with occupation. You work, even it is the farming, or is the selling, or it is the uh, trying pace up, or whatever you do should be blameless, should be unconflicting. And you develop your psychological and spiritual paths, right? Be patient, practice the holy, within the holy practice, of course. Mangala Sutta describes the kinds of effort we should make in order to be blessed in life and in the very here and now. Here and now, right? You are you are supposed not to wait. You are supposed not to procrastinate, right? If you want to gain blessing, you have to practice here and now, right? In your daily application. If you wait, if you procrastinate, that it is the sign that you are negligent, pamada, right? So if you want to gain blessing, it is suitable, it is required to practice it now, daily application. Don't be lazy, right? With your education, with your relationship, with your economic, you have to develop now, you have to upgrade now, especially for your spiritual paths. You have to develop now, listening in due time, discussion the dharma in due time. There is just learning now with the course in due time. We set the time schedule for the course. It is this the due time, right? Kalena Dhammasa kacha, Kalena Dhammasa vana. Right? In due time, in due course, you learn, and then you can develop, upgrade, advance your spiritual paths. Okay. And also they range from good friends to favorite locations. So step by step, right? You should go step by step. Start first with association, right? Avoid associating with the avoid the fool, and associate with good friend with the wise. Dwelling place, location should be well as well. Um, there are a lot of case that dwelling place is the case of happiness and blessing. Some family living together with in the bad location, the neighbor do not respect the law, do not respect the the welfare of others. They try to make sound, or they try to do something to disturb others. That is what we call conflicting verb. They that mean akola jakamonta. That mean their occupation, their living is disturb others. So with good education, right, we go step by step, right, beat by beat. With that proper job training, improving personality, engaging in philosophy, life and liberation from suffering. The last one, Kemang, right? Pothasa lokathamehi chatang lokathamehi chatang nakampati asokang virijang Kemang, right? So the last stanza, it is referred to the Arahant, the liberation from suffering, one who is well trained, the mind of whom is well trained, well educated, purified, liberate from all suffering. If it become uh, not too unshaken with the worldly state and without sorrow, and become sexual or fearless, so the mind of that person is well educated, is well trained, is the mind of an arahant. Okay, so the last stanza refer to those who liberate from all suffering. Here I cannot to do better except, okay, um, so we uh, start to practice from the very first blessing and then until the last blessing, or interchangeably you can do the practice. And also the quote of Dr. Sony. So as I introduced you two books, so the book on happiness of blessing, not the book of Venerable Kamai Dhammasami. So the other book is written by Dr. Sony. So these two books important, it's relevant to each other. So you better go and read. I ask you again and again if you have time. So Dr. Sony said that the discourse is a chapter in outline of family responsibility here. Family responsibility, social obligations, moral purification, and spiritual cultivation, of course. Very important. It's relevant much to your family affair. Mean individual affair. You start first with individual, because start to develop by yourself first before you have the family. So not to associate with the wise, to associate with the fool, to honor those worthy of honor, to dwell in local, in well organized country or locality, uh, to have a lot of knowledge, general knowledge, to be well versed in knowledge, to be skillful in art, science, and vocation. So it is for to develop for your own self, and then come to the family to support one parents, to cherish wife and um, and children. This is become family affair or family responsibility, social obligations that you have to, social affair you have to behave, you have to fulfill, you have to perform, you have to develop or advance your moral purification and spiritual cultivation until the very last stanza, right? You develop your kanti, to be patient, to practice the brahmacharya, the holy practice, so on and so forth. Within the compass of thousands of stanzas, not dozen, but I wrote 13 stanzas, starting from Asevanaja Balanang, 11 stanzas, not dozen, not 12. I avoid the first one, the question of deity. So if you include question of deity, it becomes 12, but I avoid the stanza question by the celestial being. So there are only altogether 11 stanzas. So within the compass of the 11 stanzas, included profound counsels and golden rules, which admirably point out the way life's journey should go if it is to reach the heaven of perfect harmony, love, peace, and security. So, among the 11 stanzas, it provides you the golden rules, right? That it is the key point, it is the map to point out the ways life journey should go if it is to reach the heaven, perfect harmony, love, peace, and security. Beginning with emphasis on the suitable environment, the discourse lay appropriate stress on personal discipline. Start first with personal discipline, righteous conduct, and righteous conduct and adequate discharge of duties to one's near and dear to one's, right? It is your responsibility on your family affair, social obligations, and you develop your purification, moral purification, and spiritual cultivation. Then the higher virtues of humility, gratitude, patience, and chastity are introduced, right? Also introduced in the highest, greatest blessing, Mangala Sutta. You develop your higher virtues of humility, right? Nivato, Katanyuta, right? Being grateful, patience, Kanti, and chastity are introduced, and step by step are reached serenity, perception of truth, and enlightenment. So until the last stanza, uh, the last two or last three, it become it advises the stanza or the teaching advice to be serenity or to be with perception of truth and enlightenment. So how many blessings indeed? So actually you heard that there are 38 blessings taught by the Buddha. But actually based on the stanza in introduction, which as already said was added to original text after the Buddha, we say there are 38 mangalas. However, the Buddha himself did not put on a number how many mangalas or blessings there are. Instead, he just referred to the blessings in the last stanza as such as those blessings, eta tisani. So the Buddha did not mention the number that we mentioned 38 because the wise, how to say, the commentator refer to the each teaching, each blessing. So it is count 38, but the Buddha did not mention number 38. We refer to the last stanza, eta tisani, such as those blessings. So those blessings, those in the sutta start from Asevanaja Balanang until Kemang. So it is count 38, but the Buddha did not mention the number. However, so theoretically and practically there can be more blessing for us, not only 38. However, for the sake of convenience, let us say there are 38 blessings, and we will conduct our discussion on this message. Okay, so not only 38, right? Maybe there are more than 38 blessings. But with that, the Buddha mentioned among the stanza in the sutta, start from Asevana to Balanang, and until Kemang, it is the last blessing. And there may be more blessings. Okay. So come to the synthesis of the sutta. Daniel, Daniel,
Yes, teacher.
uh, after maybe you do some reading, you do some listening to the book and listening to me, right? So based on that, so can you summarize the stanza in just maybe a few line or few sentence? Can you?
All the stanza.
Yeah, the whole stanza. Can you summarize or synthesize a few line, a few sentences? Can you?
Um, the contents or the purpose?
Um, both, if you do.
The stanza is it's a guide to good.
Not the stanza, the sutta, this discourse,
Um,
right?
yeah, it's the guide to good, healthy life and blessing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's that. That's all.
It's, I think, two main parts. I think the first part is around how to navigate. It's like the foundation,
Mhm.
how to like not associate with food, how to be. And the second part is more about how to act in the world, like taking care of mother and father, righteous conduct. And the third part is more about your personal culture, um, like humility, patience, and Dhamma.
Okay, um, that's all right.
Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, you said the three phases of path that you divide the blessing, the 38 blessing from in three parts, right? The first part is foundation of life. That means your you develop your own individual, just like not to associate with the full, associate with the wise, to be well versed in knowledge, skillful in arts. So living in suitable location, that means your foundation you develop for your own, right? And second part, maybe you're living in a family, or you join in a family, you responsible for family affair, and you just like start with um, to support family, support parents, wife and children, blame less job, blame less inaction, unconflicting work. Okay, to support the relatives, so on and so forth. That means to the social affair or family affair. And the last part, that means for the spiritual parts, right? Develop patient, being patient, practice in dhamma, so on and so forth. right? So in three phase. Thank you so much for your sharing. Thank you. Any other can share? Nhung Cầm See here. I haven't heard your voice within these 2 days. Nhung Cầm See? Nhung Hong Cầm See?
I saw the message he chat, he asked permission.
Ask permission today. Oh, okay. If he is here, she is here, maybe is he can share somehow. Okay, Nyom Boran, can you share something?
The teacher, a
Okay.
little bit. I can summarize in the Mangala Sutta in three or four. One is social environment. This the Buddha teach us about the uh, ourselves not associate with the foolish and associate with the wise, living and in a suitable environment and having performed meritorious this in the deed in the past. The second one is for personal responsibility. The teacher asks invite us to gain more knowledge and skill for happy living. For the advice for parent and relative, spouse and children, caring and engaging in a peaceful occupation. The third one is moral, moral or ethical. He advises us on the right first action like giving generosity and righteous conduct, like helping relative and uh, doing job in a blameless job. The fourth one is he advises on uh, spiritual spirituality like humility, gratitude for the elders, and patience. A regular listening to the Dhamma, and then realization, trying to study and realization of the noble truth. I summarize for the fourth point. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for Nyom Boran for your sharing, doing on synthesis or doing some on uh, the summarize to the Mangala Sutta as Daniel also share and also Nyom Boran share um, the uh, the map, just like the key point of the Mangala Sutta that we can apply for our daily practice. So also the author of some book of the books that I have researched, he also mentioned the the author, the different author have different idea of Mangala Sutta, just like here in you know in 20th century in Myanmar there was a scholar by name Mingala Ubatan in Myanmar, in Burma, right, who did so much to popularize the Mangala Sutta among the populace in his country, to the extent that the word Mangala. So just like you, if you visit you visit Myanmar or you visit Burma, they will greet you Minglaba, Mingalaba. So Mingala from Mangala, right? Mangala in Pali. In Myanmar, they pronounce Mingala. So they pronounce Mingalaba. Mingalaba, that means hello. That they greet you. In Cambodia, Day or Chumriep Su. They say they start with Mingalaba. Mingalaba. That means if you want to greet them or they greet them, that means they said Mingalaba in Burmese. Came to be his honor prefix, so become his name, the author's name. He says that the whole 38 blessing can be generally categorized into three Buddhist training. So there are three Buddhist training, of course, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Moral ethics, meditation, and wisdom. So the whole 38 blessing can be categorized, can be summarized in three training, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So start one blessing number 1 until 21. Right? You may remember yourself. Blessing number 1 until 21 belong to moral ethics. Number 22 to 30 belong to meditation, and the last eight blessing belong to the wisdom, the training of wisdom. Okay. So he analyzed like that, he synthesized like that, as 1 until 21, that is the moral basic, moral ethic, that is sila. And number 22 to 30, it is meditation. And the last 8, right, it is wisdom. Okay, so let's move all together to the stanza. Okay, 1 until 20. Okay, not to associate with the fool, to associate with the wise, to honor those who are worthy of honor. Until 21, here, to be mindful in dhammas, to be mindful in dhammas. So among them, refer to the moral ethic or sila. And he said that start from, okay, maybe, sorry. Start from 22 until 30 here. 32, to respect, to be humble, to content. Until 30 blessing, 30s, it is about the meditation. Okay, meditation. To develop one's meditation. And the last 8, to be restrained, to practice to practice austerity or holy practice, to seeing the noble truths, until to be fearless. Okay, to be fearless, sexual. They are belong to the training of wisdom. So he synthesized about the main teaching of the Buddha. Refer to the blessing, the 38 blessing refer to the three training, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. He seems to make note not only moral ethics, consisting of right action, right speech, and right livelihood, but meditation and wisdom in their broad spectrum. Mingala Ubatan is essentially reads the whole sutta through scheme of the Noble Eightfold Path. So if we divide, if it is analyzed, the Noble Eightfold Paths is summarized in the Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, as you have learned from the previous course as well. The Noble Eightfold Paths is summarized in three training, right? Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So next, I refer to Dr. Soni, also analyzes it into three phases or three parts, just like Daniel mentioned, but from a different angle with a simile of building a house. So he summarized, he synthesizes into three parts, just like the simile of building the house. First, first of start first part is building a house. Second part residing in it, and then leaving the house for a temple. Just like you divide your life into three parts, right? First, you try to build a house, and then after you build the house, you reside in the house, and then in proper time, in proper occasion, you get old, you become mature, and then you are, you know, bị thành người này, you're not satisfied with living in the as the householder. You're not satisfied to lead the family, to lead the uh, to look after the house, or to to lead the house. So you leave your house for the temple, or you live in the forest for nekama, right, for renunciation, so on and so forth. So Dr. Sony synthesized the Mangala Sutta in three parts or three phases, just like building the house, residing in the house, and leaving the house for the temple, for the forest, for renunciation. So the first phase or first part start from stanza number 1 to 10 are considered as preparation for both worldly and spiritual practice, spiritual success. That is to build the house, just like to build the house. So if we go back to the stanza, to the sutta, blessing number 1 to 10, that is stanza number 1 and 2, right? Some stanza number 1, 2 and 3. Asevana jabalanang, Panditanang jasevana, Poja japojaniyanang, and another stanza, Patiru paris patisavasuja, Popeja katapunyata atasamapaneti, and also Bahu sajanja, Sapanja, Viniyoja susekito, Viniyoja Sasaketo Supasata Jayavaja. Here, these three stanza, 10 blessings. Sorry. The 10 blessing considered is the preparation for both worldly and spiritual success. There is to build a house, just like to build a house. It means just like foundation mentioned by Daniel, that is the foundation of life. And it start with individual spiritual paths, right? You are developing yourself, advance yourself by associating and by living in the local location, in the well location, and also to develop yourself in arts, right? In knowledge. So just so that you build up yourself, just build a house, starting to build a house, and also start from Mangala, blessing number 11 until 26. I think maybe around start from Mata Pitu Upatahanang, right? Dananja, Arati Virati Papa, Garavo, right? Maybe around that, 11 to 26. Let's go together to the blessing. Maybe around that. Maybe start from, okay, this is building the house, just like this, with the simile of building the house with the first stanza, stanza number 1, stanza number 2, and stanza number 3. Stanza number 3. Asevanaja balanang patirupate savasuja bahu sajanja. These three stanza, there are 10 blessings. They are called, they are with the assembly of building the house. That means individual advancement, individual development. You develop your own spiritual paths. And then start from stanza number 4. Mata pitu upathanang. Right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe around that. Yeah, and 4. Garavo cha nivato cha santathi cha katanyuta kalena dhammasavanang etang mangalamutamang. Stanza number 11, mata pitu upatahanang, right? Number 11 until number 26. Listen to the Dharma on due occasion. 26. This is what we call living in the house. After you build the house, you move to live in your house which is already built, well built. After you develop yourself, that means you start a life to live in social society, to live in group, to live in family, within family, right? So within family, you live in society. To live others, you have to just support your parent, to cherish your to cherish your wife and children. Your job should be unconflicting, not to disturb other, right? And you should share, right? To live with righteous conduct. You have your relatives with your relatives, not to live alone, not to enjoy life alone, but to support, to help your relatives as well, even though they are not your parents, not your wife and children, but you have with with your relative, you have to support them. To be blameless in action, your action, your job should be blameless. Avoid killing, avoid stealing, so on and so forth. You should loathe evil, not satisfy with evil, not satisfy with killing, stealing, and abstain from killing and stealing, so on and so forth. You avoid from intoxicants, right? This is the social affair. Within your family, within your society, you should avoid using intoxicants. To be mindful in dhammas, right? You respect, you are humble, you are content with your family, with your wife and children, your gratitude. You listen to the dhamma on due occasion. So this is what we call living in the home, living in the house after you build. And the last, the stanza number 8 until the last one, it is you're not satisfied living more in the society. You are not satisfied living more in the within your family. Maybe you are mature enough. You leave your home and then you go to the forest and go to the temple, right? So as Sony explained in his thesis, in his job, right? Blessing number 10 until 10, number 1 until 10, you prepare for your spiritual success, for your individual advancement, development. That means just to build a house. From 11 to 26, that means wayfaring the world, which is likened to residing in the house. After you build your house, after you develop yourself, you start to living in a family, within the society. That means first until 10 blessing, you are ready for yourself. You develop your understanding, your knowledge, your occupation. Make sure with your relationship not to associate with the fool, you associate with the wise. You respect, you honor the elder, you honor the monk, you honor the teacher, you honor the parents. You make sure you live, you dwell in locality, you invest locality, you have materialistic done in the past. So it is the individual advancement, and then starting living within the family, living within the house with your family, so with parents, with wife and children. You have to fulfill the job, fulfill the affair. The duty is the husband, son, daughter, and the citizen in the society. Make sure that you know the paths, you know the way to practice to do. You you fulfill the affair well, you fulfill the duty well. So start from blessing numbers 27 until 38. It is what we call spiritual growth, which is about leaving home to a temple. You are not satisfied living in the family, leading the household chore. I mean, you want to develop your spiritual growth. You leave the home and to the forest to live in a temple. That means you um, you leave the household chore, you leave the household affair, and then you want to be alone. You want to take some. You want to develop your spirit, to advance your spiritual growth. So it is the last phase, the last part, right? To go more, Sony expands his analysis by saying that the first phase, preparation stage, it is your preparation stage, your foundation stage, just like mentioned by Daniel. Preparation stage or a foundation stage is like building a house. Covers a material for foundation of life's building. Okay, start from um, blessing number 1 to number 5. And B, the necessary plan for construction work, uh, blessing number 6, and completing the structure of a house compared to life here. So completing the structure of a house, that means you are ready to move to the new house you built. You just already built. Okay. So you start life, you start your to develop your foundation of life, the preparation stage for life, just like you build a house. So it covers the 3 points. Okay. And material for foundation of life building, the next discipline was construction of work, completing the structure of a house compared to life here. So next, and the second stage, wayfaring of the world, which is comparable to occupying the house which has been constructed, has just been constructed. So cover proper discharge of domestic duties, right? You responsible for family affair and social obligation. Your family affair should be you support your parents, you cherish your wife and children, right? Unconflicting work, and within the society you share, right? To share in generosity, dananja, dhamacharya, right? um, Dan Tirnanja Dhamacharya, Dananja Dhamacharya, Chanyatakananja Sangaho, Anakula Chakamonta, Anavajanikamani, right? With social application, you share in generosity, you have your relatives as well. Okay. A matter of personal conduct. Personal conduct, that means you loathe evil, you avoid evil and refrain from evil. You are refrain from intoxicant. Okay, so on and so forth. Conserving the progress hitherto achieved through the practice of all the 20 mangalas mentioned so far. Okay, conserving the process until achieved through the practice of all the 20 mangalas mentioned so far. So conserving, you preserve the progress until you achieve it, right? It means from 20, that means you are mindful in Dhamma. Here, blessing number one, it is uh, apamato jathamesu, right? To be heedful, to be mindful in all the wholesome action, in all the moral action. So you that means you preserve, you develop your mindfulness, okay, until you achieve your goal. You achieve your the 20 Mangala mentioned so far. Cultivation of the highest virtue, which are absolutely essential for entering into the cultivation of Dhamma's highest aspects, from blessing number 22 until blessing number 26. See, it is the second stage. That means you start with the social affair, the domestic duties, right? And go to the third stage. Sorry, not okay, not here. Third stage. And last phase is like moving from a house to a temple. You're mature, you're not satisfied more within the domestic affair or social affair. That means you move from house to a temple to follow a religious way of life, and it is called the stage of spiritual growth. A, the blessing number 27 and 28 lead to ability in practice of spiritual life. Blessing number 27 and 28. What is it? 27 and 28, Khanti, right? And receptive to advice. Okay. 28, 27 lead to ability. Okay. Lead to ability in the practice of spiritual life. There is Khanti and Sovajasata, being patient and receptive to advice. It leads to ability in the practice of spiritual life. You are patient, right? Not to give up, but to be patient with, even the bad thing, the good thing, patient with the worldly state, right? That happened to you, that happened to your life and your family. And receive to the advice, you can put your ear to listen to others advice, listen to the wise one. Okay, the next two, 29 and 28. So what are the 29 and 28? Or 29 and 30? To associate with the monks and to have Dhamma discussion and your occasions. Okay. Put one in contact with those leading a religious life. So blessing number 29, 28, to see the to see the Sangha, associate with the Sangha, with the monks, to have Dhamma discussion on due occasion. It means if you see the Sangha, that means you see the wise person, and then you discuss with them. Okay, it put you in contact with those leading a religious life. And while the next four, 31 to 34, open the gates of liberation of Dhamma. Here for the liberation stage, 31 until 34, okay, self-restraint, holy practice, the seeing of noble truths, and the realization of Nibbana. Okay, these four open the gates of liberation of the Dhamma. Open the gate for you, for your liberation of the Dhamma. And the last one, The last four, 35 to 38. 35 to 38. Here, mind unshaken by the whims of fortune, carefree, stainless, and fearless, sexual. These four constitute the great awakening which transforms the temple into a lightest for humanity. This is the liberation stage, right? This four, 31 until 34, open the gates of liberation, of realization. But 35 until 38, it is the liberation, the true liberation of Dhamma, right? So Dr. Sony analyzed or synthesized uh, the Mangala Sutta into three phases as mentioned, okay, as simply of building the house, residing in the house, and leaving the house for the temple, just like I mentioned. And I will share you in the Telegram group, and then you can do your own extra reading for your knowledge, understanding to practice Mangala Sutta. You can start to practice now. It is here now. It is to develop your self-reliance. Your life is not about to pray. Your life is not about to depend on others' state, even the state, especially for Cambodian people. Um, most of us, I don't mean that the other people is good, but uh, we are Cambodian. We think we need to put Cambodian interest first, national interest first. No more praying, of course. Should not pray for the welfare, for the happiness, but to do for your own self, to make effort for your own self, right? We like to praise. Some people like to pray. Um, to when someone declare or someone announced that, or someone introduced that, oh, I am from the past life, I am Sayavaraman 7, or I am like this, I am like that. They just believe with superstition, superstitious, super, superstition, or believe with that. Oh, and then they go and then to ask for happiness from them. But happiness happen within yourself, with your bodily action, with your verbal action, with your mental action, of course. So we can summarize, also synthesize or summarize the Mangala Sutta in three phases as well, in three parts as well. The Mangala in bodily action, the Mangala in speech, and the Mangala in mind, in the mind. So just like we are coming to we the Khmer New Year is coming soon. So if we talk about Mangala, so our you know uh, our ancestor, put the moral of the Khmer New Year as the Mangala in the body, the Mangala in speech, and the Mangala in action, in the mind. Have you ever heard that, everyone? Hello, everyone.
Yeah, teacher, I heard.
Okay, Daniel, have you ever heard that?
No, teacher.
Really? You've been in Cambodia for maybe how long?
20 years.
It's when you have you celebrated Khmer New Year?
Yes, but mostly my wife celebrates.
Okay. Uh, in with the moral of Khmer New Year, our ancestor put, you know, we have the riddle, three riddles, the blessing in the morning, blessing at the afternoon, and the blessing, you know, at night time. So maybe next week, maybe I introduce a bit about this. Um, our ancestor not to put our happiness on others, to put our happiness on the deity, on the celestial being, but to put our blessing, our happiness within your action, within our deed of action, in bodily deed, in verbal deed, and in mental deed, of course. Okay. Uh, so it's time, I think. Actually, we can finish next week, of course, because I have another week to go. And I would like to take some times to introduce about the three riddles, Pasna Baikho, the story of Thamapala, right, and Kapila. I will introduce that next week as well. Okay, so thank you so much. Any question, everyone? If you have questions, you can ask. I want to introduce a bit classification of the 38 blessings. So of all the 38 blessings, we have causative blessing and we have causative blessings and resultant blessings. If we divide, we can also divide into two: causative blessings and resultant blessings. Causative blessings start from blessing number one, Sevana Jabalanang, and until 33rd. Okay, until 33rd. It is the causative blessing. We can go together to see. So what is, okay, we have blessing number one until 33rd. This is the causative, seeing the noble truths. And then with 34 until 38, there is the resultant here. So the causative, that means what we apply, what we have to apply it. And the resultant start from here, the realization of Nibbana, the mind unshaken by the whims of fortune, to be sorrowless, to be stainless, to be fearless. It is the result from the last 33 blessings. So 33 blessings, that means we have to apply, we have to put into daily application. If you want to gain blessing, you have to put into daily application, daily practice of the 33 blessing, and then you enjoy the result with the last one, two, three, four, five, the last five blessing. Of course, this is through the research. It mentioned like this. Any question, everyone?
Admin ព្រះអង្គគ្រូ but can you drop that PDF slide in the
Okay,
Telegram
I
too?
will. I will.
Okay, thank you, Pante.
Okay. So if no question, we conclude our class by now. Okay. May you join the palm together and recite Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titatu 3 times. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titatu. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titatu. Buddha Sasanang Chirang Titatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much for today. See you next week.